continue to pray for those victims.
Will you take this opportunity to apologize to Sheridan's parents for the policies that you have promoted that would directly caused her death? That suspect would not be in the city, would not be in the country.
Stop what you're doing and watch this reporter corner the mayor. He's asked point blank to apologize to the parents of a murdered student, and his reaction is going viral for all the wrong reasons. You need to see this.
They're going to get votes by doing that. On Thursday, a precious 18-year-old college student named Sheridan Gorman was shot and killed while she was walking in a park. She was just walking in the park, didn't do anything. The illegal alien monster charged with Sheridan's brutal murder had come illegally from Venezuela and been released into our country by sleepy Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country. And I don't say that because I think he's fine.
Did you catch the intensity in that room? Regardless of where you stand, seeing a former president name a specific victim like Sheridan Gorman in the Oval Office changes the entire energy of the border debate. It's not just about numbers or policy anymore. It's about a human face and a family beyond shattered. Notice how he specifically targets the monster and links it directly to the current administration's release policies. It's a surgical strike on the sanctuary city narrative. You can feel the tension in the way he frames the worst president in history line. He's clearly pivoting this tragedy into a massive campaign pillar. If you look at the backdrop, the weight of the office makes these accusations land much harder than a standard rally speech. This is the kind of footage that shifts public opinion because it connects a massive national issue to a localized, heartbreaking tragedy in Chicago. It's heavy, it's raw, and it sets the stage for the political firestorm that follows.
When you see ICE agents, being deployed, what goes through your mind?
I like it. I think Trump's doing a hell of a job. I like it.
Most of the travelers we spoke with say, while it's disappointing the current shutdown is having a negative impact on TSA staff, they're pleased to see ICE agents stepping in.
They're protecting us.
Yeah, they're doing a good job.
I have no problem with that at all. If they're there to help, that's fine. Because you obviously need more people.
Cleveland is one of more than 10 U.S. airports where the Trump administration has deployed agents to help amid a shortage of TSA.
Wait, did you catch that guy's face? I like it. That is the voice of a traveler who is just completely done with 4-hour security lines. It's fascinating to see the disconnect between the political rhetoric on TV and the actual people on the ground. Most people expected travelers to be intimidated by ICE agents in tactical gear, but look at the body language here. People are actually relieved. It shows a shift in what the average American prioritizes: results over optics. When you're stuck in an airport with a canceled flight and a screaming toddler, you don't care about the patch on the officer's arm. You just want to get through the gate. This out-of-the-box deployment of agents to backfill TSA roles is a genius move for retention because it provides an immediate, visible solution. While the news is debating the legality of it, the people in the terminal are literally giving it a thumbs up. It's a rare moment where a scary agency is being welcomed as a helping hand.
We got some reports of action on the floor last night, possibility of a deal from Republican senators that came back from the White House, some talks that they're going to try to draft a deal that Democrats and Republicans can all agree to. What can you tell us about that?
Well, the deal is no different than what we've been demanding. I know that they're calling this the Texas two-step. I prefer the Jersey, get the hell out of my way. They put ICE in our airports to cause more chaos and, frankly, cruelty to the passengers who are waiting in long lines. That's not where ICE belongs. We should have paid TSA weeks ago. Democrats have for 7 times tried to get them just to pay TSA, pay FEMA, pay the Coast Guard. We are fighting over ICE because they've been doing horrific, hellish things in our communities, slamming Americans to the pavement, barging and breaking down doors to American homes, pulling veterans out in their underwear and putting them in zip ties. So if they want to fund that through reconciliation, which is a 50th vote threshold, that's their right and their prerogative. But I'm not going to vote for another dollar for that.
Now, look at the total opposite side of the coin. Senator Cory Booker is calling this cruelty. But did you notice the phrase he used? The Texas two-step. He's framing the presence of ICE as a calculated move to cause chaos rather than solve it. He's talking about people being slammed to the pavement and veterans being pulled out in their underwear. It's a complete 180 from the calm airport footage we just saw. This is where the expert friend logic comes in. One of these sides is radically misinterpreting the reality on the ground, or both are happening simultaneously in different places. Booker is standing firm on not funding a single dollar more for the agency, which sets up a massive stalemate in Congress. It's a classic political clash. One side sees a security solution, the other sees a human rights violation. The high-stakes language here, using words like horrific and hellish, is designed to fire up the base, but it contrasts sharply with those travelers we just heard from.
I agree, there have been real failures. Those failures, of course, extend beyond the borders of Illinois. They're national failures, a failure to have comprehensive immigration reform, a failure of the president to follow his own edict to go after the worst of the worst. It is the job of the federal government to go after immigration enforcement.
White House spokesperson telling Fox Digital that Pritzker has, quote, constantly defended dangerous criminal illegal aliens and attempted to obstruct.
Here's the classic blame game at the highest level of state government. Governor Pritzker is admitting there are real failures, but watch how quickly he deflects that responsibility away from Illinois and straight toward the federal level. He's basically saying, it's not my fault if the border isn't enforced. But look at the White House response scrolling on the screen. They're calling him out for obstructing the very enforcement he's now complaining about. It's a circular argument that leaves the citizens of Chicago caught in the middle. The surgical peak here is his refusal to acknowledge any local policy role in the tragedy. He's banking on the idea that people will see this as a national immigration reform issue rather than a sanctuary city failure. It's a high-stakes gamble with his reputation, especially when families are demanding local accountability. You can see the defensive posture. He knows the pressure is mounting, and the national failure narrative is his only shield.
Future on their way here, and aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, F-18 Super Hornets, F-35 stealth fighter jets, and EA-18 Growler electronic warfare jets with jamming pods under the wing continue to launch day and night from the flight deck, and B-52 bombers now launching strikes from RAF Fairford in Britain with a full complement of 24 2,000-pound satellite-guided penetrator bombs. Those normally need to be dropped 5 to 15 miles from the target. And last night, British forces shot down 14 drones over Iraq and A-10 Warthogs, destroying Iranian-backed proxy forces in Mosul.
Look at the sheer scale of this military deployment. We're talking B-52 bombers, F-18 Super Hornets, and 2,000-pound satellite-guided bombs. This footage is a massive contrast to the local political bickering. While the mayor and governor are fighting over apologies, the actual military machine is launching over 9,000 strikes. This is the subject footage that usually gets buried in the 24-hour news cycle. Notice the detail about the Growler electronic warfare jets. That's top-tier tech meant for total air dominance. It reminds us that while the domestic debate is heated, there is a global conflict moving at a terrifying pace. The visuals of these jets launching night and day from the flight deck of the USS Abraham Lincoln show a level of commitment that words in a press conference just can't match. It's a sobering look at the hard power being used, while the soft power of peace talks is still being debated in the media.
Policies. Will you take this opportunity to apologize?
Well, again, I believe that we're all grieving the loss of Sheridan and other folks who have lost their lives because of senseless violence. And let's just be very clear, between the Safety Act and the Welcoming City Ordinance. The Welcoming City Ordinance was passed 40 years ago by the first black mayor in the history of Chicago. And the Safety Act was passed under the governor, at that time, who was a Republican, Governor Rauner. Thank you for your questions.
So you will not apologize to Sheridan's parents?
Hi, Mayor.
No apologies. You have nothing to say.
Back to the mayor, and this is the missing piece from our hook. After the apology question, look at how he pivots to history. He brings up the first black mayor and a Republican governor from years ago. It's a textbook deflection. Instead of answering for the current policy that's being blamed for a recent murder, he's pointing at legislation passed 40 years ago. This is what we call political time traveling. He's trying to dilute his own responsibility by saying, "This was here before me." But the parents are asking about now. You can see the frustration in the room. The reporter isn't letting him off the hook, but the mayor is staying strictly on script. This moment is why people feel so disconnected from their local leaders. It's the expert friend takeaway. When a leader starts citing 40-year-old ordinances to explain a crime that happened last Thursday, you know they're in full defensive mode. What's your take? Is this a local failure or a national crisis? Drop a comment below and let's get into it.